What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. So, we're not going to talk about Unity. We're not going to talk about PlayStation 5. We're not going to talk about the donkeys and the ponies and the donkey. Well, actually, they might come up. Who knows? But we are going to talk about one of the biggest leaks in Xbox history, thanks to the FTC's carelessness. Now, I thought I read something about where they were saying, oh, it's not our fault, we didn't do it. Well, I don't know, whatever. I don't care. It got leaked, whatever. So basically, all the way up to the year 2030, 7 years of leaks, Microsoft's roadmap for 7 years. Now, some people could say, well, the FTC is just trying to get back at Microsoft for being trying to level the playing field or whatever. You know, still in Sony's pocket, still on Sony's side, I guess. Or it was a mistake by people who just make mistakes. Or it was a calculated move, kind of a bluff, if you will. Now, Microsoft has been known to bluff before. Phil Spencer made it clear that they actually bluffed the Game Awards when they announced the Series X. They had a fake practice presentation so that no one would leak the console reveal. Smart. Now, this is a whole elaborate thing. Now, would Microsoft do something like this in order to kind of psych Sony out, in order for them to jump the gun and do some foolishness with their hardware? Oh, we got to put out the hardware, blah, blah, blah. And then Microsoft was like, you thought that was what we're going? No, we're not doing that. This is what we're doing. Boosh. That could be it. They could be doing another fake out. Who knows? But as it stands, their roadmap, although some of it is out of date because of this, some of it was written before the pandemic. It might have all been written before the pandemic. I'm not too sure exactly, but some of it was written before the pandemic. And so with some of the dates, especially the release dates for the games, everything is kind of pushed back 2 years. Meaning their projected release date is 2 years prior to when they actually release, like Deathloop and Starfield, all those games. Starfield was slated as 2021 and just came out. So you figure the pandemic added about 2 years, a little less than 2 years, but 2 years, give or take, to all those plans, which is fine. It doesn't change the roadmap that much. I think there was a mention of them buying Nintendo again, but I think people are misconstruing what Phil Spencer said. Phil Spencer said that that Nintendo hasn't realized that their success lies outside of their console. That's paraphrasing, but basically what he's saying is that if Nintendo put their games everywhere, mainly Xbox, because that's what they want, right? Then they would be so much more successful. They would sell so many more units of games. They're still gonna sell Nintendo consoles, but they can do a deal where it's like, okay, we're gonna get Mario, we're gonna get all the Mario games, all the first party games that Nintendo has on the Switch or the Switch 2, whatever. But it'll come out on the Switch first, and then we'll get it later. Or we'll get it a year later, whatever. As long as we get them, it's fine. I mean, you gotta kind of start that way. You know, that way they can still get their sales and they can still get their game sales, and they'll get extra sales down the line. I mean, more so than they are getting now, basically. And I think that's what he meant, not so much, oh, we want to buy Nintendo. That makes no sense. Nintendo, A, would never sell to Microsoft. And B, it sounded like more of a partnership as far as putting those Nintendo games on Xbox, basically. And I think that's the direction that Phil Spencer's looking to go with Microsoft, with Nintendo. And that's fine. I don't actually want Microsoft to buy Nintendo. I don't think that's necessary. It doesn't feel right, if that makes sense. You know, it's not organic. But and you know, they're a very, very old Japanese company. There's tradition there. There's history with the U.S. and Japanese. So I would say that just on on honor and just, common sense that Nintendo would never sell to Microsoft, let alone an American company. Come on, son. They still feeling that. Anyway, so that was the little Nintendo blip of that there was so much information. So they got a new, let's go from the low to the high. They got the new, let's go from the low to the high. They got a handheld. They have a handheld in their little things. Now, I don't know if they were talking about the Rogue Ally, but this is first-party stuff, I will assume, because they didn't show any other third-party peripherals. So, first-party handheld, I hope that is something that's more recent, not like the before times, and then they see all these handhelds come out and they say, nah, forget about it. But I think that they're seeing all the success with these handhelds, and they're like, yo, we should do that too. Do a first-party handheld. Look, if Microsoft does a first-party handheld based off of just basically do an Xbox Series S handheld, that's what you need to do. I mean, it's already kind of small. It's like this big, right? The Series S. It's about that big. About that big. Is there a way that they can miniaturize it even further? I mean, they're already moving from 7 to 6 nanometer chip. That's why this whole, they call it a mid-gen refresh, and that's what it is. It's not what last gen's refresh was with the Series X and the Series S. It's not that. It's basically what all the consoles do every generation. They get better production. They're switching to a smaller chipset, so that's going to affect the power draw. That's going to affect temperatures. That's going to affect everything. Basically, they need less temperature. They need less cooling, less power. So it's all around going to save them money in production, and it'll run cooler. So, I mean, honestly, theoretically, they could overclock the Series S if they want to, even the Series X, because they're both going to go step down on the nanometer. So if they wanted to, they could do that. And the Series S has the same form factor, except the USB-C is in the front, and they're doing 1 terabyte instead of the 512, and they're keeping the same price, $299. And I'm like, God dog it, I should have waited. But now the new Series X is kind of cool because A, doesn't have a disk drive, which I'm fine with. I have a 1X. I can use that for Blu-ray, and it's a little bit smaller, and it's like cylindrical as far as I can tell. I was like, oh shoot, that's kind of all right. And there's another thing that they're doing. They have a new controller, but they also have the option. I looked at the fundings and stuff, and they said this is not funded yet, but it might, maybe, who knows. But they're trying to do a Xbox Design Labs for the consoles. Yes, I bet you they got a Starfield one. Like, yo, Starfield, you poop it down, you can buy the console, get your Starfield console. I'm like, I don't think I want a Starfield console. I already got a controller. And also, the thing about the controller, I'm bouncing all over because it's popular, man. The new controller they're coming out with, I forgot what it's called. I think it's called Sabine or something like that. And it has haptic feedback in it now. And it has a removable, rechargeable battery. Boom. I mean, the only thing that they didn't say that it should have is those holofact sensors, the magnetic ones instead of the contact ones. If it had those, forget it, best controller ever. But they'll probably say that for the Elite controllers. I would assume that they would do that, but whatever. I know they're more expensive, but whatever. And they showed the new, like the color scheme for the new controller. It's like two-tone. I was like, yo, kind of look like a little, okay, all right. I was like, oh, it looks a little classy. Looks like a controller got a tuxedo on. It's kind of dope. But yeah, I'm like, all right. I'm feeling all of this. And the thing is like, the thing where I go conspiracy Bandit, is that, like, okay, it was leaked on purpose to hurt Microsoft, or it was leaked on purpose by Microsoft in order to gauge the temperature, to take the temperature of the room, to see what people are saying about it. And if people are liking it, then it's like, all right, look, everybody like it, let's go, moving forward, let's go, full steam ahead. You know, it's almost like a beta of, look, y'all like this? What do you think about this? without having to ask. We're getting the public's opinion from this leak without it seeming like they don't know what they're doing or whatever. I mean, you can't put it past any of these companies as far as strategies go to see what the public's looking at, to see what they should do. And this seems like one of those things where it's like, oh, I think they maybe did it on purpose in order to gauge the room, to see if anything in that whole thing, all that information dump was like kind of sus. And I don't think anything was sus. They had the Bethesda there was the actual Bethesda game leak as well. But like I said, I think it was written before, so the dates are off. But they had a Ghostwire Tokyo sequel. They had a Dishonored 3. They had, what else did they have? They had a bunch of stuff. They had a couple of projects. I think Project, I forgot what the projects were called, but they were unnamed games, obviously. So there's a lot of information in there. And it's like, is this fodder for Donkey Unicorns and Ponies at any point? And I'm looking at everything and I'm like, I mean, this all looks good. This all looks like a good plan. Meanwhile, what Sony got? They got Spider-Man coming out next month and Wolverine sometime in the future. And all those goofy foam stars and stuff. Yeah, I was looking at foam stars the other day. I think it was yesterday. I was like looking at it. I was like, yeah, nah, Splatoon looks better. I mean, like technically, like foam stars may have higher resolution or something, but the art style is just better in Splatoon. I don't know. And I think the gameplay mechanics are better too, because you go in the ink and then and you go faster and you swim through the ink. And with the foam stars, you're just building foam obstacles, which is, it's an idea. I don't think it's better than what the Splatoon does though. But anyway, this leak was ridiculous. I was watching Sean and he had popped on. I was like, oh shoot. And he was like, yo man, he went through most of it. Then Destin went through it too. I was like, all right. And like I said, it doesn't seem like anything's out of place. It seems like a good plan. Remember when Phil Spencer said, yeah, we're not doing a mid-gen refresh like that, like the X, like the One X to the One. And he's right. What they're doing is what I said they always do, is they take the advances in whatever the hardware that their first hardware iteration, version 1, and they iterate it to make it more efficient, cheaper to make, cheaper to manufacture. Like I said, that's what all manufacturers do. That's what all console manufacturers do as the generation goes on. And so that's what they're doing, and it's smart. And if Sony does an actual mid-gen refresh, meaning like a Pro, yeah, it'd be 3 Pros, PlayStation 5 Pro, that would be the biggest mistake that they would make this generation, because what that does is it resets their timeline. So if they do a half-gen refresh, right, and just like add some stuff, that's adding, first of all, it's adding it's adding work for the devs, because you're creating a new SKU for your PlayStation devs to create on, which devs don't want. They are happy with the one SKU. And by doing that, you're messing up the devs. And 2, it costs more money, R&D, of course, obviously, because it's a new console. And it's gonna cost more money to produce because you're putting more stuff in it. You're putting more RAM, you're putting all kinds of stuff in it, right? It's a bad move. It's a bad move. Are they gonna do the Slim? Who knows? Maybe that will come out next year. And as far as the release dates for the new Xboxes, that's all next year. Q, I forgot what Q it was, but it was 24. But if that's the case, then maybe, like if everything was delayed, then maybe that one is delayed as well to maybe 25. I don't know. So I don't know where some of those charts were before and some were after. Oh, excuse me. Oh, boy, sorry, my bad. But it is looking good. And that new Xbox Series X without the disc drive, I'm gonna get that because it's the same price as the current one. It's the same price, $499, and it comes with 2 terabytes of storage instead of 1. Come on, son, let's go. That's what's up. That's how you make people buy your stuff and not lose your shirt on it. But anyway, I appreciate y'all. Share, like, and subscribe. I'm seeing a little bit of movement on the subs, and I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it. I'm working on a song again tonight. Get that joint done. And that's all I got. Let me know in the comments below if y'all watched all that good stuff, all that scuttle, all the leakies. Let me know what you think about it, about the handheld Xbox, about everything basically, and the design of the new Series X, the cylinder, the little garbage can, and yeah, just hit me up. And I appreciate, and I'll talk to you on the next one. To the wait.